I vespri siciliani. Libretto by Eugène Scribe and Charles Duveyrier. Translated by Arnaldo Fusinato. First performance on the 13th of June 1855 at l'Opéra de Paris, Paris. Following the success of La Traviata, Verdi began to work on the score of Les Vespres Siciliennes, I Vespri Siciliani, for the Grand Opera of Paris. He wrote to his friend Cesare de Sanctis, "I've barely written 4 acts of my French opera. I still have to do the 5th, the ballet and the instrumentation. When I've finished, I shall be very happy. An opera for the opera is enough work to kill a bull. 5 hours of music, oof." Palermo, 1282. The French invaders celebrate. Eleanor, sister of Duke Frederick of Austria, has decided to take revenge for her brother's death, and so she encourages the Sicilian people to revolt. Revolts break out, but the Sicilians are immediately repressed by the governor, Monforte. Monforte, struck by the audacity of the young Sicilian Arrigo, offers him a position as officer in the French army. But Arrigo, disgusted, refuses. The Sicilian patriot, Giovanni da Procida, comes ashore in Palermo, and he sings an aria to his beloved country, accompanied by the delicate colour which is given by the woodwind instruments. Procida, together with Elena and Arrigo, plans the Sicilian revolt. Arrigo declares his love to Elena. She asks him to take revenge for her brother's death, but Arrigo is arrested by Monforte's guards. A festive group of girls and young men of Palermo, who are to be married, invade the scene to the sound of a tarantella. Procida, in order to cause the revolt, incites the French soldiers to kidnap the 12 girls. Indeed, the people become furious and want to take revenge. Monforte, who due to his cruelty has been abandoned by his wife, learns in a letter from her that Arrigo is his son. Monforte frees Arrigo from prison and tells him that he is his father. During a party, Arrigo discovers that Elena plans to kill the governor. Elena hurls herself at Monforte, but Arrigo shields him with his own body, and so is now considered a traitor by his compatriots. Elena and Procida are locked up in prison. Arrigo explains to Elena the reason for his actions. Elena forgives him, and she confesses that she is in love with him. After Arrigo has called Monforte father in public, Monforte frees Elena and Procida. Arrigo and Elena plan to marry at Vespers that very day. While Elena is preparing to be married, she sings the famous Siciliana. But this idyllic scene is soon interrupted. Procida reveals to Elena that when the bells toll, the Sicilians will revolt. Monforte marries the young couple, but when the bells sound for Vespers, the Sicilians, led by Procida, rush in and kill Monforte and the French. The chorus of Sicilians celebrate this act of revenge. The decision to write a grand opera in 1855 was a gamble. The genre, which had been extremely popular in 1830s France, had lost its appeal following the fall of the July monarchy of the Orléans in 1848. But at that time, Verdi was not particularly bothered about pleasing the public. Following the triumph he had achieved with the popular trilogy, Rigoletto, Il Trovatore and La Traviata, Verdi wanted to take on the challenge of great proportions and variety of form that only grand opera was able to offer. The Paris audiences had already applauded Jérusalem, the French reworking of I Lombardi alla prima crociata, and so now Verdi was ready to take a risk in order to obtain definitive and official approval. On the 26th of July, 1852, Verdi wrote to the librettist Eugène Scribe, I need a subject that is grandiose, impassioned, and original, a mise en scène that is imposing and overwhelming. He found this subject with Les Vespres siciliennes, which was staged in France at the Opéra de Paris in 1855. Italy was still in the middle of a politically difficult period. The only possible way that the opera could be shown in Italian theatres was to bow to the censors by changing both names and setting. And this is exactly what happened. For the first Italian performance, the opera was renamed Giovanna di Guzman, and it was set in Portugal. Moreover, the Italian audiences preferred operas without long intervals of ballet, and it was Verdi himself who gave his authorization for the dances to be removed. It was not until 1861, only after the unification of Italy, that Les Vespres siciliennes could become, to all intents and purposes, I vespri siciliani. In the classification of Verdi's most performed operas in the world, I vespri siciliani comes in 17th place. In the classification of the most performed operas in the world, I vespri siciliani comes in 228th place.